everyone.
Not a issue. This kind of interactions is also gives positive energy.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are just waiting for a couple of our colleagues from Niti Aayog to join in. I see Vishnu Priya has joined in. Vishnu Priya, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I have Ronak with me as well. So both of us are on the call now.
Lovely. Thank you. So that's great. And we have Dr. Saha has also joined us. So let's quickly get started. So good afternoon, teachers. Thank you so much for joining us on our concluding webinar of this month-long series that we have had with you. We are pleased and delighted to have Dr. Saha joining us today. Dr. Biswajit Saha is Director, Training and Skill Education, CBSE. He was formerly Additional Director, Vocational Education, and Dr. Saha himself is actually a scholar. So Dr. Saha was a professor at the Tripura Institute of Technology, and he comes with the education and the background of being an engineer himself. He has a PhD in computer science and engineering from School of Science and Technology. So a very warm welcome to you, sir, for joining us on our webinar. I'm also delighted to have Ronak, who is the main backbone, frame, and the energy behind Atal Tinkering and Niti Aayog, along, of course, with his colleague Vishnu Priya. They are the ones who are really working for the Atal Tinkering Labs and getting it to be activated amongst teachers, in the schools, as students, driving creativity and change. So, may I call on you, Ronak, start us out by giving us a few introductory opening remarks, and then we will move over to Dr. Saha.
Hello, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Ronak, over to you.
Yes. Yes. Okay. This is wonderful. So, so that's Vishnu Priya, my colleague, and first of all, thank you so much for joining. I can see Saha sir as well, Dr. Saha. Glad to reconnect with you, sir. We actually spoke last week as well on national education policy, and we had a really interesting discussion with Mr. Ramanan as well. So, thank you so much. Glad to see you again, and welcome. And thank you all the teachers who have joined us to share some of their time with us, and would like to hear a lot of your experiences as well with respect to the ELTI module that we have covering up. At Atal Innovation Mission, we actually took this whole lockdown experience as an opportunity where we launched the Tinker from Home campaign. And under the Tinker from Home campaign, we got a chance to curate, create, and bring to you a lot of interesting modules and a lot of interesting activities across various technologies, skills, and so on. In fact, at this particular point of time, while I'm concluding the ELTI, I'm also working simultaneously on some other design thinking based modules and leadership modules as well with tGELF and our key partners as one of our key partners. As you must have noticed, during this whole 3 or 4 months of our campaign, we have curated some interesting content for you, some interesting modules for you. We started with AI base, we went to gaming, beginner, intermediate, advanced. We then went to coding, we then went to app development, and then we also thought that we are also supposed to instill 21st century soft skill sets which are equally important to all of the tinkering movement of India. And that's why we actually started with a design thinking module with IIT Delhi, and which is currently happening as well. And right now we are with you for the leadership of tinkering and innovation with tGELF. tGELF team has been an amazing partner since day one with us. first ELTI module which talks about ethics, leadership, and innovation. And it is extremely important for us to understand the ethical values of technology. You can build technology to do good, you can build technology to do bad. Okay, but we always want our students to build technology for good. And that's where the first journey of our ELTI module started, which was a very humble 20-page module, but it got so much beautiful attention that we did a trainer sessions. Our master trainers were trained on ELTI for 2 days at ETI, and those master trainers then went ahead and taught ethics and leadership to to many of our ATL in charges across the country. And we were definitely planning to bring this to all the ATL in charges across the country. However, we were a little challenged by the current scenarios, but thanks to technology, we were able to do a virtual session with all of you, and we plan to do. I hope that tGELF will be more, and definitely we'll try to bring out more interesting content, more interesting sessions, which a lot of more activities, a lot of more interesting, innovative activities from your regions, from your localities as well every quarter. And we also expect and hope that whatever you have learned during these couple of weeks with the core team, you will be able to take this to your students and enable them to tinker and innovate. So over to you, Vishnupriya. Vishnupriya is my dear colleague, and she has been working extensively with me over the past 1 year on the Atal Tinkering Labs initiative, and she has been spearheading a lot of initiatives as well, which definitely includes one of the most interesting initiatives, the gaming module. So if you want to meet someone who has actually worked on the gaming module from the that's her. So over to you, Vishnupriya.
Thank you, Ronak. I think Ronak has provided a pretty comprehensive list of all the efforts that are going on from our side as part of Tinker from Home. So let me just talk about ELTI, the current training that you are a part of. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the teachers for successfully completing this course, and I would also like to thank tGELF for collaborating with us and organizing this training series. And even though a lot of our trainings, webinars are focused on the technology aspect, I feel that ELTI is very relevant and it's very different compared to all other activities that we usually conduct, like be it gaming or Python learning or 3D printing, etc. Those are on the technological front. But when you implement these technologies, like how you bring about ethics and empathy and how you deal with these technologies in the right way is what I think was covered in this training. And in today's day and age where artificial intelligence is all the rage, the topic of ethics is all the more relevant and important. And I'm glad that all of you, even though it's a different and unconventional topic, all of you showed interest and took part in it and did all the assignments and exercises and team activities. So congratulations to all the teachers. And I'm very glad to also know, Dino ma'am told me that some teachers want to conduct such training for their students, go back and conduct trainings for their students. And I think that's a great job. I mean, the early you start, the better. So I think students should be exposed to the topics of ethics and leadership. So, and I also welcome Mr. Saha and looking forward to the interaction and the expert session that we will be having. So again, thank you, Dino ma'am, for organizing this, and I would wish the teachers all the best, and hopefully you will take back all the learnings and cascade that to the students at your ATL and other classes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ronak, and thank you, Vishnupriya, for those encouraging words. Yes, we are completely on board to do this with more and more teachers in the hope that this gets cascaded to more and more students. Dr. Saha, I will ask for a minute of your time to introduce you to our team, and in fact introduce you to our vice chairperson, Mrs. Gauri Ishwaran, who has actually been the guiding light She is the inspiration and the motivator for all that we do. Ma'am is a Padma Shri awardee herself and an educationist now for very many years. It is with her inspiration and her guiding light that we continue to do this work that we are doing. My name is Deenu. We have met previously as well. You know my colleague Vibhu, but I'm also joined by Sachin, by Rahul, and by Khyati. They are all here. If you can please open out your videos and have Dr. Saha see the entire team who has helped make this, and Shuchi, our entire team here who has helped really worked behind the scenes very, very quietly, but they are the solid backbone on which this entire series and webinar has been held. And we look forward to more such opportunities with the ATL teachers. So with that, Dr. Saha, over to you for your thoughts and your inspiration to the teachers.
Good afternoon, or rather good evening to everybody. Gauriji, namaskar. And of course, all other eminent member, and especially Ronak and Vishnupriya, and they have a very beautiful captions, future maker. It's really future maker. You are being involved with such a wonderful missions. Bibu and Dinuji, of course, I know them personally. So basically, the idea with respect to this kind of training by Atal Innovation Mission to gear up the morality of the teachers, and it gives me immense pleasure to see a lot of teachers have showcased their interest and rather participated in this kind of program. Although I think Vishnupriya has rightly mentioned it's a non-conventional, because usually from AIM it is usual takers is with respects to all new technology. But besides this new technology, the use case, and especially for any tech-based course, that social engineering side is very important. And social engineering is nothing but the human connect, and how actually the technologies are being implemented in real situation, that is more important. And I think in every household, forget about your present duty of teachings or mentoring the students, think of the children in our own household, how they are being somewhere attached with the technology or even handle device, be it games, be it other parameters. I was just surprised to read a news column, I think a few days back. So one grandchild is using the bank details of his grandfather, rather hard-earned pensions amounts are being kept in a particular account, and by playing PUBG kind of games, more than lakhs of rupees are being siphoned to other accounts. So these things are very important these days, and again, these pandemic situations is showcasing other light to all of us in every household, some way or others, some sort of crisis. No matter, somewhere it is financial, somewhere psychological crisis is also there. So these kind of course rather empower you. Many things you know, but within this span of few days, you also came to know how to handle your own situations, no matters how best you are, but certainly this technological know-how, or rather again, I am stressing on the social side, because these things only empower the individual in totality. So without empathy, today, in fact, Honorable Prime Minister was addressing us on new education policy 2020, especially on school education segment. And he categorically stressed on the behavior of an individual with respect to auto rickshaws driver and other individual. So this kind of message is actually trying to again empower the individual's human relationships. And there are a lot of study, lot of survey report, whether it is Harvard, Stanford, or world, all international university, including Indian university. What is important in life is happiness, and number two, that happiness derived from the relationships. No matter what way, in this period of time also, virtually we are connected with each other, but some sort of relationship, some sort of the way Dinuji or Bibu and others faculty members has treated you, that is also very much important. So from that also we learned something. Now, why I am saying all these things? Because your relationship with the individual student who are coming to your ATL, or the way they are associated with is in the school premises or otherwise, that is more important. No matter how far you cover your content, be it new technology, be it your subject matter, whatever it may be, but at the end of the day, even the definitions of good teachers or bad teachers, the way you treat the children, and that is very, very important. Once that relationships built up, the specific word LOV is becomes more vital, and whatever you instruct, they will absorb very easily. So that's why it's my humble request to all faculty members, besides the content teaching, the relationships component need to be stressed upon equally. It may be by means of relationship stress seeing, you may lose out some certain amount of time and may not able to fulfill the commitment in terms of syllabus coverage or even in terms of project-based learning. But I am confident that with your that stressing on the relationships, the individual learner will become confident learner and they will complete your rest of the job. So every organizations, be it Atal Innovation Missions or their partner institutes, everybody wants to complete and successfully complete. So successfully accomplishment would be established only with be it training, be it learning. So as an individual learner, we need to create that synergy in the ecosystems. I think ethics, empathy, these two words starting with E is also energize the individuals for their future life. So it is very important. And Vishnupriya has rightly mentioned that in the age of AI, or especially in the age of data, uh, both there are many reports in terms of data capturing, there are a lot of anomaly, and that's why the garbage in and garbage out. So more we capture the wrong data, the outcomes in visually it may be so appealing, but ultimately it's a garbage. So similarly, in human life also, no matter what kind of percentage one achieve, but the human component will be there only when their new chemistry behaves with our culture. Without our culture and well-being cannot be defined. So cultural connect can be rather embedded in the systems, and as an individual teachers, you are the best persons to embed and infuse this kind of component in the new chemistry of every student. So my humble request once again, because without that, no matter what kind of new technologies we are teaching or we are learning, because at the end of the day, we don't want any kind of Hiroshima or Nagasaki, because in the same way that so many fraudulence activities are going, the cyber security is a huge subject, huge area, and there I think all the component of your all this new technology will rest once individual is not ethically correct. So individual responsibility to protect your home as well as to protect your schools and ultimately at large the big society. So with this request, once again, I'm congratulating you all to be part of this mission. And now with the support of faculty members of ATL partner and Atal Innovation Missions, you have to lead these missions forward so that this knowledge and know-how you can share with your colleague first, and then of course student, parents, and more interactions will minimize the gap, and it would be a healthy relationships and ultimately happiness, which really matters in life. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saha, for those encouraging words. And yes, it is so important that education is for humanity. And how do we educate for good human beings, not just great doctors or great engineers, but at the end of the day, great human beings as well. Dr. Saha, with your permission, we will open out the floor to questions from teachers. And I will, start by asking a couple of questions, which I'm sure the teachers will also be interested in. And then we'll take some from the teachers. I understand that you cannot give us too much time, but in the little time, just a few questions.
I'll take few questions because I have some other commitment, but otherwise I could love to be with you all. So a few questions, maybe 3, 4, or maximum 5 questions I can take. Right?
Very nice. Absolutely, sir. So let me set the ball rolling, and let me start out by asking just a couple of questions, and then we will open out to the teachers. So Dr. Saha, as your role within the CBSE for training and skill development, what are some of the steps? What exactly you're doing, and how is it that you're helping teachers in upgrading and updating the skills that they have?
You see, nowadays that future job roles, what emphasized by OECD and in various reports are already roaming here and there through the internet domain. And I believe that Atal Innovation Mission, IT Sector Skills Councils, and lot of others are showcasing that to both schools and higher education space. Now, basically, all those new projected technologies, I think we need to empower the teacher, and this is the right stage where we can empower, starting from AI to design thinking, data science to IoT. All those new areas need to be showcased, and teacher, no matters, and they should not think with respect to their background. It is always not essential that only computer science peoples are going to absorb all this new technology, whatever we are mentioning. It is altogether any teachers with positive intent and interest can participate in this kind of training. And our role is basically to empower all the teacher, whoever is interested to upgrade themselves. In Finland, there is a specific agenda, although very small country, small number of schools, but they are a specific agenda of trust is very much visible. And number 2, the lifelong learning. One should not stop. Okay, मेरा age इतना हो गया, मुझसे नहीं होगा. That actually misled you neurochemistry, all hormone secretions, and ultimately you are not able to do. But these pandemic situations, many teachers who have never touched computer screen in that way, number 1, and only even this phone, all smartphone they handled with the help of their grandchild. So those teachers also came forward. Now I'm really happy, and let me congratulate those teachers. So they are first generation tech learner, but you see the enthusiasm. So subjects immaterial. You may be from humanities background, you may be from history, but AI will help. You may be only Hindi teacher or language teacher. How AI can help you, how data science can help you in your future life, even to become financially more sound. I must recommend that financial literacy of every teacher must be corrected, because financial literacy is very poor for I think so more than 10 lakhs teachers. I am not telling arbitrarily. This is more than a fact. We are not able to manage our own money, no matter the amount could be little or amount could be in crores. We are not able to manage our money. So that art is also very much essential for your individual growth. Of course, if you want to really create an entrepreneurship mindset in the school ecosystems, first of all, you need to showcase something. Otherwise, why student will believe? So many teachers with by facing this kind of questions also becomes entrepreneur. Number one. Number two, good trainer and good share market investor. And now a teacher's CBSE school teacher, he was I believe he was maths teacher. Now one of the prominent speaker in financial literacy, and he's whatever he is recommending, it becomes gold. So that kind of energy is there in the teacher's mindset. So you have that enormous power. Now, only thing is that you need to unleash, and here we are to support. And of course, we are strongly discussing with Atal Innovation Mission, and some sort of collaborations will be there very soon, so that we can formalize these things as a part of core curriculum. And new education policy is also driving us to think computational thinking, coding, and all sort of new technology in the school curriculum. I think this will give more power and freedom to the teachers to lead in this way of life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Saha, you all were also doing something on joyful learning. We learned that there was some joyful learning program that you all had initiated. Could you tell us and the teachers a little bit more about
Yes.
that?
Here again, the idea is every learning, if ends with stress, that means we are producing only mark sheet. And as per PM, it is stressful journey. So here for joyful learning, that is activity-based learning, and other way is multidisciplinary approach. Means if even up to class 8, there could be a proper interactions between the subject teachers and class teachers and whatever, even in your up to 10. So science teacher, if they interact with the social science teacher and maths teacher, and maths teachers with the music teachers, then the proper art integrations and sport integrations will be there. And the way social science, how it is connected with the science, how it is connected with biology, how your maths is connected with physics. So then this interdisciplinary approach need to be cohesive, and the way if one teachers interact with the other, they can create a pedagogy of joyful learning. So joyful learning here lies, okay, some sort of experiment, some sort of project, and here the teachers, a group of teachers need to discuss, okay, these portions of the syllabus will be covered through this online methodology. These portions of the syllabus will be covered through project-based learning, and these portions by mutual interactions. Then the student will get enough time to introspect and thinking and innovation. But otherwise, if every teachers want to complete the syllabus on their own way, then 5 textbooks and 5 different pedagogical style, where will be the innovation? Where is the time for thinking? So joyful learning will give the space of thinking, number one. Number two, through interdisciplinary approach, one can connect with the real life, and real life, whenever we are connecting, then that learning outcomes or experiential based learning. And if we introduced in between projects, even whatever ATL is offering, how it is connected with the science, how it is connected with social science, and with respect to presentation skills, whenever a project is being presented by a group of 3 students, their communication skills, their collaboration skills, need to be measures, and that's what's actually aimed at 360-degree holistic report card, what have been envisaged in new education policy. So everything will be come under the parameters of joyful learning. And CBSE tried and experimented these things, but more energy we are going to put up so that teachers can be trained in that light, and ultimately classrooms becomes more joyful. And the end outcomes is classrooms should be more joyful. The journey of student in the school, in many forum I have in fact shared, you just capture, because nowadays there could be a good projects for the data analysis also. I simply ask some principal, because wherever I go, especially before lockdown with respect to schools, I see how parents usually say goodbye when they drop the child in the school campus, maybe in the early morning, even it could be a 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning. And whenever the same group of students leave the school premises at 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., with respect to age group, the stress level is also more. And that could be a good ATL project, that on visuals of the children, the data is readily available and no need to clean the data. This is the real-time data is available in the CCTV server of every school. So you take up this project and see the happiness quotient of every individual when they enter to the schools and when they leave the school, and find out the reasons of why after making a group, and then deliver it and find the solutions. That would be the solutions for the joyful learning.
Wonderful. That's an interesting project that I'm sure some teachers can pick that up. Dr. Saha, last question from me, and then we will open it out to the teachers. So teachers, please be ready with your question. My last question, Dr. Saha, is actually in connection with the new education policy 2020 vision document, where it also mentions about inquiry-based learning. So it talks about how inquiry-based learning should be a part, and that should be promoted to the students. So if you could shed some light and maybe guide the teachers, how is it that they can create curiosity and inquiry-based learning in students?
Very good questions and relevant questions, because inquiry is actually seed for innovation. Now, how far? Please introspect all the teacher. How many times you have given an opportunity to your student to ask questions? No matters, you may be discussing a very important topic which needs attention of every child. And in between, if any student asks a questions, you feel that attentions of others will be diverted. But I strongly believe it is not others' attentions you are worrying about, it is your own attention. So many a times, we as a teachers usually do these mistakes because our target is with respect to the completion of syllabus, no matters whether the syllabus is covered or syllabus is understood and well taken by the students. In our engineering, I got a very effective teacher. I still remember his name, Dr. S. Mandal. He used to teach us the networking, and his class usually lasts hardly 20 to 25 minutes out of 1 hour. Means that concept teachings he used to take only 20 to 25 minutes, rest some discussions and some platform of asking questions. And sometimes, usually it used to happen in the first part of the class, sometimes in the mid. That depends on his mode or the classroom mode. So that liberty he used to give, and this is a lifetime experience I am sharing with you, because that is actually giving a freedom to the children to think and ask some questions. And only problem is, many a times, if you look into all these big and premier institutes and good schools or quality schools, many a times, at least I am not the persons to equate whatever the percentage of results achieved or pass rate or fail rate. I am not equating that. what kind of freedom we are giving the children to ask questions. No matter it could be a silly question, but silly questions is also a question. So usually starting from the nursery level, of course, I must advocate that storytelling-based pedagogy or Montessori approach is very much scientific, where the children gives more to do on hands and telling some story and asking some questions, or rather induce them to ask questions. So inquiry-based pedagogy is actually depend on the behavior of the teachers. Student behavior, because it is very easy to blame the student, no matter at what level we are. It is very easy, but will blame us. So that blame usually we take whenever we see the percentage drop. We feel it is a share market drop, but it is not like that. So to promote inquiry-based education, first of all, you have to give it time to the enough time to the student so that they can ask a questions. No matter 3 to 5 p.m. is a visiting hour or question hour, the children's psychology never works in that life. So you cannot dictate the classroom. Okay, once I will complete the my lecture, then only you can ask question. That means you are suppressing their freedom, their joyfulness. So this inquiry-based curriculum approach delivery is very much linked with the joyful approach. So to make it joyful, you have to give that liberty. And please try to test that mechanisms. Take one day. Nowadays, we are talking about the bagless day. So no matter, let them come up with the books, and you are supposed to teach important concept of history, the Mughal era, them to other level and induce them to ask question. And only thing is that you should be ready with the answer number one, or with respect to honest confession that if you don't know. Many times it happened with me also as a teacher. I was not able to answer some of the queries of the student right at the classroom. So I confessed. I will also search along with you. And many times, of course, in my times, we used to not allow that mobile phone in the classroom. So otherwise, in the lab, of course, this facility is there. If anything, if you don't know, directly Google it or some other research site, you can definitely find some solutions. So in lab, it is highly possible to sit with the students and find some solution. But in theory, lecture room, sometimes it is not possible. So you should have a courage to confess, I don't know the answer, I will find out, or you give that assignment equally to the student and compliment the student who are able to answer that question. That will create a culture of inquiry-based approach in the classroom. I think you can do it. Only thing, sometimes we feel if I will not able to answer these questions, a student may laugh at and or may do some sort of gossip, especially in the senior classes. Okay, teacher ko kuch nahi aata hai. So we are not ready to face this challenge. I think once you are ready to face this challenge, anybody can promote this inquiry-based approach in the classroom, and it is very easy. And then your hardcore subject component teachings becomes more joyful, because half of the times you will find 2 to 3% students, now only 1% students would be there in the classroom, who are coming in the class with prior reading and having some pre-knowledge on a certain topic you are going to discuss. But over a period of time, when you give this kind of liberty, your 30 to 40% student will come prepared in the classroom. Then think of your job. It would be more easy and more joyful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Saha. Okay, I'm opening the floor out to all our teachers. Teachers, please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Dinu, can I say a few words now?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Dr. Saha, I wanted to congratulate you on what you said. Your words were like music to my ears, because that's been my philosophy all through my career. And I'm so delighted that somebody like you is there in the CBSE. I hope you influence everyone in CBSE and that you're able to influence those who make our B.Ed curriculum as well. Congratulations. It has been a delight to listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. And let's move on to our teachers. Questions, teachers, from you.
मेरा ख्याल से मैं एक एक क्वेश्चंस का ज्यादा आंसर दे दिया इसलिए क्वेश्चन नहीं है.
Sir, Srivatsala here from Delhi Public School, Bangalore North.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you one simple thing. You are giving a lot of importance to co-curricular activities. Here, when you're talking about interdisciplinary, I think even the co-curricular activities can take over any emphasis laid on that for in NEP, like when we are talking about skill and you're giving more importance to skill-based learning, what exactly is the curriculum change that we are expecting, and when is the new curriculum being rolled out?
You see, every schools are autonomous, and autonomy is very much given to every schools, be it government or private. Now, with respect to NEP, there won't be any hard separations between the subjects. Hard separations means now there is a separations with the sports activity, extracurricular activity, different club activities are treated as extracurricular activities. Some things related to your vocational program or skill program, this is also some good schools or some schools are seeing it is an additional burden and may not essentials because students are supposed to focus on core academic subjects. Now, NEP talks about there won't be hard separations between the co-curricular, extracurricular, curricular, or academic or vocational. So that means all are aligned in a same plane. Now, it has some implications. It has some beauty. Implication is that if that same plane from schools to higher education, if that plane exists, then the journey would be smooth, and ministries of education's directive is to achieve in that light. Number one. Number two, in higher education, so mostly bachelor on humanities and arts-based subject, that percentage is occupying the major chunk of this country's UG program, followed by your science, commerce, and engineering. I believe is hardly 13 to 14%. Although very much number of engineering colleges are visible, but the fact is it is only 13.5 to 7%. So that way, the country's ultimately university education is one way having opportunities of only BA, BSc, BCom, and other professional degree. And school ecosystems is guided by a streaming kind of things, which ultimately restricting the child to choose or rather exercise his or our own choice, that we are restricting. Of course, up to secondary, that core curriculum we are restricting with respect to that compulsory subject. I believe in this to come, new national curriculum frameworks, which we are just emphasizing by end of that things will be on roll, and new textbooks and new subjects, that group of subjects and all those combinations will be visible by next academic session, and there you can effectively decide. But up to class 8, even now, that autonomy is very much up to the schools. You don't have to wait for NCF to come. You can very much implement this multidisciplinary approach of education. In fact, last year in one conclave, I have requested the principal to introduce even 6 months categorically. If some students is very much enjoying playing guitar or playing football, no problem. You dedicate 6 months or 3 months to play only guitar and find out all beauties of guitar. Or if somebody is like to do something related to coding, allow them complete semester to study coding, and remaining 6 months somewhere you try to manage the other subjects, whatever you feel important at this stage. But many a times we are rigid. Okay, no, this 5 subject is mandatory. Who say? So that flexibility is there. You decide what child want, and if you feel whatever you are recommending it is appropriate with respect to his interest and age, I don't think there is any deviations from the national curriculums or deviations from the systems or not obeying the systems of education. Not at all. It is all depends on the teachers and school leaderships. You can do anything. Even now.
Sir,
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you, Dr.
yes,
Saha. There is
One last questions I will take because I have a commitment.
Okay. Srivatsala, if I can give the opportunity to Chitra. There is a question that Chitra has put in the chat box. Chitra, would you like to unmute yourself and ask the question, please?
Yes, thank you for giving this opportunity, ma'am, and very good evening, sir. So this is my question from like commonly we used to think. So now, based on new education policy, we are having lots of competency-based learning, art-based learning, computer literacy skills are there. So in that we have lots of technical things, like which is like some teachers may find it difficult to incorporate in their subject. So at that time, if the engineers are helping, is there any opportunity for the engineers with the bachelor education to be in the CBSE schools, sir?
For engineer, I don't think there is a specific requirement of BA degree. So of course, with the help of senior teachers, because maybe in futures, what NEP envisages that 4 years teachers education's degree for teaching is essential. But for engineer to teach core concept of coding and other things, or even the other area of tech-based areas, if anything to teach, I don't think there is a requirement of BA degree at present. In future, I cannot comment because that national professional standard for teachers is going to be recommended by the NCTE, and there are all these qualifications and all gamuts will be clarified. But as on date, I don't think there is any specific requirement. Even for our all skill subjects, we have not recommended that BA degree. For few areas, of course, it is there, but not for all. So that freedom schools can definitely work upon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, you can other questions you can take up, and you can mail me at any point of time, so we can interact and chat through mail. Thank you, and wish you all the best. And of course, during pandemic times, you must take care of yourselves and all family members. Thank you, and once again, namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Saha. And I can see there are questions coming in the chat box. We will certainly take these up and mail them off to you.
Sure.
And send the answers back to the teacher. So thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Ma'am, if I may request you to quickly, as ever, leave the teachers on a level of motivation and inspiration. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, teachers. So you've been through a wonderful journey, and I'm going to focus now only on ethics. I know you've been taught, people have spoken to you about innovation, curiosity, and Dr. Saha has emphasized on the new education policy. But please always keep in mind, whatever innovation you bring in the classroom, whatever new things you decide to do, keep in mind that they should be for the benefit of the community. It should be positive innovation. It should be something that will make life easier, maybe help us reverse climate change. So when we talk about ethics, that's a central point of ethics, that we think of the good of others. And if you think of the good of others, automatically you develop empathy. So that's something in short supply in the world today. And I'd like to conclude by saying that you teachers are the most important members of society at the moment. Society is in a critical juncture. We are facing so many problems. We are facing an uncertain future. We don't know what the 21st century is going to be like. And if our young people are to survive in this unknown, they'll only do so because of people like you. I'll roughly quote what Mother Teresa said. Mother Teresa says that, you may teach your child, your students, a particular style, but they may not follow the style. You may teach them a particular way of thinking, but they may not follow your way of thinking. But in everything that they do later in life, your impact will be visible. Because whatever route they take, it will come eventually from what training and what guidance they have got from their teachers. So please be confident that you all are important and you all are the most necessary facet of society today. So congratulations, good luck, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, teachers, for being on this journey with us. We hope that you will stay connected with us. Keep telling us of all the innovative, creative things that you are doing. We will try and get for you new and new ideas and new methodologies that you all can use in your classroom. And we also look forward to doing such kind of interactions with more and more ATL teachers. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. All the best and stay connected with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, madam.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I want to just tell something.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, what's it?
There's one small thing, if you can put it across to CBSE.
Sure.
The thing is that what is happening now when we are talking about culture, there's nowhere in the history textbook which actually enhances our culture. For example, we have great innovators prior. We have like if you look at zero, which was given by us itself that way. See here, there's a fine line between being egoistic and just being confident about what we have done. I somewhere feel that the students are losing out the confidence. So if we can put our own things that people have done prior, if that can be added into the history rather than just being learning about the Mughal emperor, like he just mentioned about the Mughal rule and the thing. See, now that is done. We are done with that now. We all know about it. And we are not moving forward from there. We are just stuck about the same thing, I feel. If there is a small change also given in the history stating, like every year we learn about a great personality, be it from anywhere. Let us open it out to. I think that is history, which has, like, for example, industrial revolution. It somewhere puts in something that you're learning something. But here, I think that there should be a small change that comes about, which enhances culture and which says that how culture was embedded and how ethics was more important at times. Maybe even 10% of the students can pick it up. I think world will be more beautiful to live in.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Deblina. And I think somewhere the new education policy with its focus on culture is somewhere heading in that direction. But by the time the books get done and this becomes a legislative process, it will take at least another 2 or 3 years. But there is no stopping any history teacher from doing this in the classroom. Please remember one thing, teachers. The book is not bigger than you. You are the teacher, not the book. The book is only a tool in your hand. Where do you want to take that book, which is there given to you, is entirely your decision. Do you want to be limited by what the book says? Or do you want to go beyond the book? Is completely in the hands of the teacher. So please don't feel that the textbook is a limitation. The textbook is only a methodology. It's only a tool that is